Welcome to American Christian or Christian American. If this is your first time, welcome. If you haven't seen any of my videos before, I would strongly encourage you to go back in the beginning and start watching from the beginning. You can watch some now, but the beginning ones give you a background of where I'm coming from. So you get a better idea of how I'm putting a lot of things together. Also, if you haven't yet, please subscribe. You'll get the videos faster. And if you could put a like on, hit that like button. Some people think that by pushing either one of those buttons, they're committed to some type of financial. You're not. Subscribing just makes the videos come quicker, and pushing the like button helps the algorithm out there so more people will see the videos. Today, I want to say that I've got some disturbing stuff to talk about, but then again, I think a lot of stuff that I've talked about is disturbing because that's what we're dealing with. We're dealing with things against white Christian nationalism. We're dealing against racism and the hypocrisy and the lies of white supremacy. Well, nothing new. Here we come again. And we're talking about something that has recently come out. It happened earlier this year in Florida. And so I've got a couple of videos of William McNeil and a situation that happened. And then I'm going to add on, so I'm going to put these together, and then I'm going to put up a clip of the Second Amendment. So we'll put all those things together, and then I'll come back and talk.
Growing attention on the Sheriff's Department in Jacksonville, Florida, over a viral video of a violent traffic stop involving a black driver. The cell phone footage is from February, but it was just posted this past weekend. And then the body camera videos were released yesterday. Officers say they pulled over 22-year-old William McNeil for not wearing a seatbelt and not turning on his headlights during inclement weather. McNeil said his window was broken, and an officer told him 4 times to open the door and exit or he'd shatter the glass.
There's no rain.
It doesn't matter. You're still required to have headlights on.
Can you pull that law up?
Huh?
Can you pull that law up?
Yeah, when you step out of the car, I will.
Can you call your supervisor?
Huh?
Can you call your supervisor?
All right, go for it.
Exit the vehicle now! Exit the vehicle! Show me your hands.
Here.
I'm here. What is your reason, sir?
Step out.
What is your reason?
Step out now. All right.
Don't.
The officers involved are not being criminally charged, but the officer who smashed the window and punched him is suspended pending an internal review. NBC's Aaron Gilchrist is following this story for us. Also with me is Paul Butler, an MSNBC legal analyst and former federal prosecutor. Aaron, Jacksonville Sheriff has released that body cam footage that he says provides context for the encounter. So walk us through it, would you?
So, Chris, we now have 4 different angles on this incident. The first video we saw over the weekend, the cell phone video from inside the car. Now the sheriff's office has released 3 pieces of body cam video. The piece that you played was from the second officer who arrived on the scene. The officer you saw on the driver's side of the car is Officer Bowers, who was the first officer. And in his body cam video, you see him in his cruiser pulling up behind Mr. McNeil and then getting out, approaching Mr. McNeil's car, at which point he opens the car door and leans out. He says that his window is broken. That's why he's opened the door. And when the officer tells him to get out of the vehicle because he's being pulled over for not having his headlights on during inclement weather, which the law says you have to do in Florida and other places around the country for that matter. And then the interaction escalates after Mr. McNeil shuts the car door, where he's told over and over again, at least 7 times, to get out of the vehicle. And then at this point, after talking with that second officer, you see the window being broken there. The punch happens that we see on the cell phone video. I want you to see a little bit of the body camera video that we've edited just so you can see the progression in the interaction here. Watch this.
Sir, this is your last warning to open the vehicle and exit before we're going to break the window. No, he's under arrest. Open the door and exit. You are under arrest for resisting.
He talking about arresting me and stuff, bro. I didn't do nothing.
It's called resisting, idiot.
Now, Mr. McNeil also indicates that he's been injured while he's handcuffed there, and you hear on one of the body cam videos, you can hear an officer calling for EMS to come to the scene there. Chris, it's important to note that the sheriff says that, again, no criminal charges are being brought here against those officers by the state's attorney. At the same time, his agency, the sheriff's office, is doing an internal review to make sure that no policies for the sheriff's office were violated by the officers involved here. He says that they're trying to do that as quickly as possible, but they've only seen that cell phone video this weekend. The sheriff said he was in church on Sunday when he was made aware of that video's existence, and he immediately started that investigation, the internal investigation, to see whether a policy was violated. And it's something that we're all going to be watching, Chris. Mr. McNeil and his attorneys have indicated that they're going to sue. They have called a news conference for tomorrow where we should hear from William McNeil Jr. himself about this incident, Chris.
Thank you so much.
Jacksonville, Florida, where a routine traffic stop turned violent has placed the city and the sheriff's department at the center of the country's latest debate on police use of force. The driver, 22-year-old William McNeil, spoke publicly for the first time about the incident. CBS's Elaine Quijano was there.
Exit the vehicle now. Exit the vehicle.
Days after William McNeil Jr. released this cell phone video of his violent traffic stop in Florida,
Justice for William McNeil. Justice for William McNeil.
the fallout continues to grow. The video shows Jacksonville sheriff's officers shattering his car window, punching him across the face, and dragging him from his vehicle before placing him under arrest. Today, McNeil spoke publicly for the first time.
That day, I just really wanted to know, why I was getting pulled over and why I needed to step out the car when I knew I didn't do nothing wrong.
McNeil later pled guilty to resisting arrest without violence and driving with a suspended license. Ben Crump is William McNeil's attorney.
It is a classic case of driving while black and police excessive force on a young man who never, ever did anything to warrant such force.
But the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office says there's more to the story. They released police body cam footage showing McNeil repeatedly asking why he was pulled over, shutting his door, and ignoring repeated requests for him to step out of his vehicle. Sheriff T.K. Waters.
When incomplete cell phone camera footage becomes the basis on which public opinion turns, the results can be equally faulty.
You cannot justify this. You cannot condone this. The sheriff should say very publicly that this does not reflect our training, our policies, or our procedures and our values. And he should immediately terminate this officer.
And Elaine Quijano joins us now. So, Elaine, what does the family want to see happen next?
You heard a little bit of it there. Their attorney, Ben Crump, says the family wants to see all of the officers who were involved in this stop to be fired and for the sheriff to say publicly that what was captured on video does not reflect the training or the values of the sheriff's office. I asked if they...
All right, we're looking at the Second Amendment here. It says, a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed upon. Well, it didn't say upon, but... Okay, we've seen those videos and talk about the Second Amendment. So there is absolutely no excuse for punching this man in the face. You can come up with all different scenarios and things that he may have done wrong. There's still no excuse. And if he was being stopped for a traffic stop, why was this so intense? There makes absolutely no excuse. I don't care what he did wrong. I don't care if he was a murderer. If he had his hands up, he had his hands up. He wasn't resisting. They broke the window. Okay, if they had to get in the car and they broke the window, then punched him in the face. And actually, he got punched again outside there. If you look at one of the videos, there was no excuse for that. What are we dealing with? Well, the Second Amendment. I've talked about this before, and I'll talk about it again and again and again. The Second Amendment was designed not for the individual people to have guns, but for a well-organized militia, which is like a military group, which turned into the slave patrol. The slave patrol was there to kill rebelling slaves or whatever. It gave the authorization to kill these people. The slave patrol then grew into our police force. And that is where our modern day police force comes today. So people would say because of this that our system is broken because we have police brutality, we have all these different things that go on, how people are treated, that our system is broken. And I would tell you straight out, that is absolutely, completely, and totally wrong. The system is working perfectly. And what do I mean by that? It's doing exactly what it was designed to do. It was designed to oppress people. Our system, our national system, whether talking about police force or anything else, was designed as a white racist supremacy, white supremacy type of system. It was designed to keep people down. Our system isn't broken. It's working perfectly. What we need is to scrap it and to have a new system, a system that treats all people with respect. I don't trust our police force. We need our police. We do. Now, I'm not the one who is going to have the problem, but I don't trust the police force when they pull over my brothers and sisters, my friends, the people I care about. I don't trust it. How African Americans, too many African Americans, when they're driving and they get pulled over by police, they don't know whether they're going home that night, whether their family is going to have a funeral for them very shortly. They don't know whether they're going to be harassed or beaten by the police. Now, that doesn't mean that every police officer would do that, but that is what they face all the time. First thing to come to your mind, oh Lord, let me make it home tonight, because they're an African American. You say, white people say, well, I don't see that. No, you don't. You're white, so you don't encounter it. Now, I'm not saying there's not ever injustices that happen to white people either, but nothing like what African Americans have to face. Policing in this country is about brutality. That doesn't mean every situation, but our entire judicial system is about brutality. Our prison system is about slavery. Our prison system is about beating people. Our prison system is another form of slavery. There are more African Americans in prison today than there were enslaved in the 1800s. This is by design. Laws that prevent people, like the crack versus cocaine law. For instance, crack and cocaine are exactly the same drug. It's just that they're in different forms. Cocaine is in a powder form. Crack is in a crystal form. It's been cooked and out of all the procedures. But the laws, and although they've changed a little bit, the laws have been higher penalties for crack than they have been for cocaine. Why in the world would they do that? Crack costs less than cocaine. So crack is more prevalent amongst African Americans, where cocaine, the powder form, is more prevalent amongst whites. It's just one of the ways our system is rigged to incarcerate African Americans in jail more often and receiving higher penalties than white people, and more often getting a sentence or a harsh sentence than white people do. Our entire system is based on racism, evil, and hatred. Entire thing. There is no excuse for it, except for hatred and white supremacy. Our police force is designed out of oppression. Now, you may have some better cops in there, you may have something, but the entire system is based on that. So even with better cops, they have a system to follow. Even when you have black police officers or you have a black police chief, the system is still set up and designed to oppress African American people or non-whites in this country. There was no excuse, absolutely no excuse, not even a small excuse for punching this young man in the face. It is despicable. It is disgusting. If he did things wrong, then hold him accountable for those things. If he would not get out of the car, and if you had to break the window, once you're in there, you do not have to punch him in the face. Once he's out of the car, if he's not fighting back, you don't have to punch him again or drag him down. If there is no excuse for it, but it is America. It is what we have in this country. And it's getting worse. It's always been there. Don't act like it's never been there. It's just being filmed more. But it's getting worse. Under a corrupt and evil president, Donald Trump, who is reinforcing MAGA, which is also controlled by white Christian nationalism, which is nothing, that has nothing to do with Christianity, has everything to do with hate and power and control and using God as an excuse. There is no excuse for what happened here. If you can think of an excuse, I'm telling you right now, you've got problems with racism. No matter what he did wrong, and if he had to be arrested for something or whatever, there was no excuse for punching this man in the face. But welcome to America, folks. That's what America is. Now, that doesn't mean everybody in it, but that is the framework of this country. And we're not going to get over it until we start calling it what it is and standing up and saying, no, that's not right. It's not going to change. Never going to change until we stand up and do what's right. And if you claim to be a Christian and you won't stand up to this, something is wrong about what you're reading from the Bible. Because this is not right. God loves us all. And I know God has forgiven me of a lot of things. And I know he's forgiven you of a lot of things. Stop acting like you're better than people. Start acting like you're part of the people. Our prison system should be about rehabilitation anyway. It should be about helping people be secure. It shouldn't be about revenge. The people who go into prison are still human beings and should be treated like human beings. They should be educated to do something better. The two goals prison should have is, one is to keep the public safe, and two, to rehabilitate people who go in there. Yes, it is a form of punishment, but not of dehumanization and abuse. People should, the idea of sentencing, like for instance, a person who is a serial killer, yeah, I believe should probably spend the rest of life in prison because, one, they keep doing it, but it's about protecting the public. But whenever we can rehabilitate people, that's what it should be. But we don't live in a country like that. We actually live in practically we live in a barbaric country with the way people are treated. And you may not be experiencing that. But I'm going to tell you, if you look around, everybody else is. But maybe you're saying, well, they deserve it because they're less than me. I would tell you you're wrong. And I would tell you that you need to face God. And you need to change your heart. You're not that special. You are special to God, but you're not more special than everybody else. Until the next time on American Christian or Christian American.